Hello ladies, gents, and everyones. It is Thursday, July 1st, and we're here to talk about this week's space and astronomy news. But before we get to that, I just want to say thank you so much to those of you who have tuned into the first 2 episodes of The Cosmos Show, a new show I am co-starring on, and I'm having so much fun doing it. If you missed it, the episodes are up on YouTube, so you can go ahead and catch up. And don't miss our next episode on July 13th, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, with special guest Jill Tarter, a founder of SETI. Yeah, that's going to be a great one. So yes, please check that out. I really appreciate it. It's been a great fun so far. But let's get to the news. So unfortunately, the Hubble Space Telescope is still down. It's been down since Sunday, June 13th now. So last week, the team attempted to start the backup payload computer, which hadn't been turned on since it was installed in 2009. Now they did get that computer turned on, and they tried operating with it in various configurations with the current computers, and they still were getting the same error where they basically can't write to or retrieve from memory. Now, since it's really unlikely that both computers, the main and backup payload computers, have the exact same hardware fault, this indicates that probably the fault is somewhere else. And so the team is now trying to look at other places that this could potentially be coming from to see if they can isolate it and hopefully figure out what we need to do to fix the telescope, because we would all love to see that getting up and running as soon as possible. Now, don't fear, the telescope and the science instruments are all fine. They're in safe mode. They are doing fine, just chilling that way. But of course, we can't do any science with them until the computers are all fixed. Earlier this week, the CNSA released footage of its rover landing on Mars and the rover disembarking from the landing platform. This also included sound, which it's just, I don't know about you, but I'm not over getting to hear sound from another planet. I think it's so cool. This footage is absolutely amazing. It's really fun to watch. And scientists think they might be able to get some bonus science from it. So both Zhurong and Perseverance are equipped with microphones, and they're located several hundred miles apart on the surface of Mars. And the scientists think maybe they can use those different locations and different microphones to examine wind patterns on Mars. This past Tuesday, SpaceX was set to make its 20th launch of the year when the launch was scrubbed literally seconds beforehand, literally 11 seconds before launch, due to a helicopter entering the keep-out zone, which is basically the restricted airspace around a launch pad. Now, Elon Musk was a little unhappy about this and took to his favorite platform, Twitter, to complain about it, basically saying that the keep-out zone is unnecessarily large and that the FAA is just not keeping up with the current environment of space launches as operated today. Now, Musk has been at odds with the FAA many times, including going ahead with a test flight launch of a Starship prototype last December in violation of the launch license. He commonly claims that the FAA regulations are outdated and preventing humanity from truly becoming a spacefaring species. Now, he's actually not the only one that has complaints about these keep-out zones regarding spacecraft launches, because in fact, on the aviation side, there has long been complaints that these zones are too big and cause too many disruptions, unnecessary disruptions, basically, for aircraft. Now, the FAA does want to be more efficient in how it regulates airspace, but it's a very big agency, and this is a very big problem and complex problem. And as always, safety really has to be the first consideration, and so it's not quite as simple as perhaps we would hope. But one thing that they are going ahead and doing testing of, hopefully later this year, is a system that more quickly informs air traffic controllers about launches, and that could help us reduce this keep-out zone around spacecraft launch pads. In any case, like I said, safety is always the top consideration, and so under the current regulations, scrubbing the launch was definitely the right call. It did go off successfully last night. The LIGO and Virgo gravitational wave detectors are back in the news this week as the teams announced the very first discovery of black hole neutron star mergers. So since the LIGO instrument came online in 2015, they have discovered black hole mergers and neutron star mergers, including the very famous 2017 event that had an electromagnetic counterpart, kind of opening up this new era of multi-messenger astronomy. But while black hole neutron star mergers were expected and predicted to happen, they hadn't actually been confirmed from any of the data until now. Now, 2 events, both detected in January 2020, have been analyzed and confirmed to be black hole neutron star mergers. Unfortunately, telescope searches did not reveal any electromagnetic counterparts to these 2 events. Now, that could just be because they are too far away, or it could be because, in fact, the neutron star was too quickly and totally consumed by the black hole, in which case there wouldn't be any electromagnetic radiation to be had. The detection of these 2 events indicates that black hole neutron star mergers are actually per volume more common than black hole mergers, although black hole mergers give a stronger signal, so we can see more of them because they're a little bit easier to detect. But these black hole neutron star mergers seem to be more common, and we've now detected them for the very first time. Construction began today on the Square Kilometre Array, a radio telescope that's planned with 2 locations, one in South Africa and one in Australia. This telescope is going to be a huge advancement in radio telescope technology, and it's going to have a very large collecting area, in fact, about 1 square kilometer, which will make it much more sensitive than previous radio telescopes and make it able to survey the sky much more quickly. Once this telescope is complete, it will be providing astronomers about 710 petabytes of data every year. A petabyte is a lot of data, and there's 710 every single year. So the infrastructure required to support the data that this telescope is producing is in and of itself very impressive. The SKA observatory member states met last week at a council and voted to approve the beginning of construction today. This is a pretty big deal because this telescope has been in the works for 30 years now. Now, construction won't be complete until probably the end of the decade, but one cool thing about radio telescopes is that you can actually start observing with a smaller subset of the array. They don't need the entire thing completed before they can start making science observations, so science observations should start sometime in the next couple of years, although obviously they won't have the full power of the telescope available until all of the construction is finished. Lastly, on a little bit of a fun note, we now know the name of the mannequin that's going to be launching on the uncrewed Artemis 1 mission later this year. Over the past 2 weeks, NASA had a competitive bracket contest to choose the name, and they received over 300,000 votes during this contest, and the winner is Commander Moonikin Campos. I just love the Moonikin, that's great. The Campos part is named in honor of Arturo Campos. He was a NASA engineer that was integral to basically saving the Apollo 13 mission from becoming, more of a disaster, I guess, than it was. Moonikin Campos is going to be sitting in the commander's seat on the Orion spacecraft during the Artemis 1 mission. He's going to be wearing the same space suit that the Artemis astronauts are going to wear, and he's going to be loaded out with sensors and everything. And this data will help the astronauts in the Artemis missions be more safe. There are also going to be 2 female torso-only mannequins in the capsule as well to be taking data, and the Artemis 1 mission is hopefully going to be launched this November. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to be taking next week off from the news due to some personal and public holidays, but I will see you again in 2 weeks. All right, have a good one. Bye!